Remember the scene in The Wizard of Oz when Dorothy, Izwara, and Toto are on the yellow brick road and they come to this point, this intersection. And Dorothy says, well, which way are we supposed to go? And the Scarecrow, she has not yet met, is up on his post, and he said, well, something like, a lot of people like to go that way. She looks around, she doesn't know who to talk to, and as she's looking around, he says, of course, some people prefer that way. She looks around some more, and then he says, of course, some people like to go both ways. And then they meet, and she gets him down off the pole, and they do a little singing and dancing, and then they choose a way. They just go. They go off down the yellow brick road. And they didn't look back. They didn't worry about, well, should we have gone that way or that way? They just went. Well, we are at a crossroads, always at a crossroads, as people, as an organization, as a church, as a body of faith. We are at a crossroads, always at a crossroads, the intersection of the past and the future. It's hard to be heard. It's hard to be heard, you know, with all that racket going on outside.
Hello, kiddo!
Esmeralda! You sure have!
Hello! Hey, I'm not interrupting, am I?
Oh, come on in, Esmeralda!
Can I come in? Hello!
Come on in!
Hi! Oh!
It's good to see you!
Oh, look at you! Look at you! Turn around. Yeah, you're there. Glad to see you back from the front old top. Let me look around. I wanted to come during one of your services so I could see you in action. You know, when you're preaching, you started to preach yet.
Some might say so.
Well, I'm sure if he's preaching, there's more to come. Hello. Look at me. Yeah, you're everything he told me you would be. He talks about you all the time. He's in love with you. I mean, he loves you like you were his brother or his sister or his kid or something. I don't know. Hey, which one of these handsome guys is Tim?
That's him back there.
Tim! Hi!
Hi.
Glad to meet you finally.
You too.
Bet you didn't think I was real, did you?
I had my questions, had my doubts, yeah.
Can you see me?
I can.
Oh, not everybody can see me. So glad to meet
Well,
you.
this is the congregation.
This is them.
This is them. Some of them. All of them.
So glad to meet you.
And this, everyone, this is Esmeralda, my friend I told you so much about.
Glad to see you folks, I'd like to say. Howdy, howdy, or hola, or bonjour, or buenos dias, or konnichiwa. Look, I've traveled a lot, and I'm never sure what part of the world I'm in.
Or what time in the world, right?
Well, now, about that, you know,
I've told you all a lot about Esmeralda stories over the years, but some of you are new and haven't heard any of them, and so you probably don't recognize her name. Let me introduce her a little better. Ez is a longtime friend of mine. She's a pilot and a time traveler. That's right. Her little yellow prop plane out there in the parking lot is a time machine. Really? I know you might not believe me just right off the bat, but just wait. Just you wait. Esmeralda has taken me on some pretty neat adventures in that old plane of hers. Because of Ez, I've witnessed the birth of this very church back when it was founded in the 1800s.
Well, it's about that travel.
She's been on many adventures herself, too. I love to hear her tell the story of seeing the birth of Jesus. Yeah. She and her sister were there. Yeah. Who knows what great story she has for us today?
Hold on there, just for a minute.
I've got an even better idea. I know. Let's go into the future this time.
No, what I'm trying to...
Yeah, the future. Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll skip ahead and see what we can do to make our church as healthy and vibrant as it can be. We can figure out what works and what doesn't work, and then come back to the future and do the right thing from the very start. We won't have to make any mistakes. Oh, Ez, you came at just the right time.
Kiddo, stop! You know what? I'm trying to tell you something. Won't let me get a word in.
Oh,
why.
sorry. Go ahead. What is it?
Okay. The first thing I'm trying to tell you is that I'm not going to take you into the future.
Why not?
Well, let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard me talk about a story about when I went into the future? No, I think not. I'll tell you, you haven't, because I've never, ever traveled into the future. Ever.
But why not? I think it would be fantastic to get a peek at what's to come. And then you can fix the stuff that would go wrong, and the world would be a better place. And
Well, that's exactly right, but here's the deal. What if I traveled into the future and I didn't like what I saw? And then I figured out that I couldn't, I'd spend all my days trying to change what I liked that I didn't see, and I couldn't change it, and things that maybe should have been changed in the first place. So I've decided that's not how I'm going to live my life. I'm going to live my life in the present.
it's not like we're not always thinking about the future as we're thinking about how to make it better and how to do the right thing. We plan and we prognosticate, and then we adjust our plans and we adjust our prognostications. People have always got their eye on the future.
Prognosticate! That's a big word for a preacher. Prognosticate! Yeah, you're right. Yes, you're supposed to plan for the future. But that's a whole different thing than knowing what the future holds.
I don't get it. And we could really use the help. The church, this is the best community. I love this community. We're doing great, but we're struggling in a few areas, and I probably worry more than I should, but I worry because I love the church. I want it to be healthy. And well, I want it to be here for the people who need it now, and I want it to be here for the people who need it in the future.
Yeah, and so you think that taking a little peek into the church's future is going to help?
Well, it couldn't hurt.
Oh, I don't agree. Okay, now let me see. How shall I put this? How can I explain this? Oh, no, wait. Wait a minute. What was that the reading that you had this morning? That from I got it. Wait a minute. Don't rush me. Oh, thus saith the Lord, and this one I see. Who lie down, cannot rise up, no. Who do not forget, remember the former things. Oh, wait! Here it is. God says, I am about to do a new thing. I am about, that's it. It's perfect. God's going to do a new thing.
Not exactly. God is about to do a new thing. See, in the future.
Oh, not exactly. God says, now it springs forth. Now it springs forth. Now. Do you perceive it?
Well, that's because the future is constantly becoming the present. So in one sentence, God is talking about doing something in the future, and in the next sentence, God is doing the thing that God said what God was going to do. Wait, does that make sense?
More than you might know.
Well, the past is always becoming the present, too, and you have no problem traveling into the past.
Well, that's now the other thing that I wanted to tell you. I'm not doing time traveling anymore. I'm staying put in the present.
What? Why would you give up a gift like that?
Well, because it stopped feeling like it was a gift. I mean, at first I felt safe. I could travel into the back, and I knew in the past there was nothing I could change. And I felt that I was just more of an observer.
Well, what's the problem then?
Well, I'll tell you. I was traveling into the past, and that's the problem. And I traveled into the past every time I had a problem. So that every time something went wrong in my life, and there was a problem I didn't want to deal with or face, I'd just hop into my plane and I'd travel someplace to an exciting event in the past. But the problem was that every time I back into the present, the problem that I went to the past to escape was still waiting for me there that plane strictly for crop dusting and skydiving lessons. I'm doing something new.
Well, not all of us have the luxury of just living in the present.
Well, I hate to tell you, kiddo, but that's precisely what you are doing. It's like you said, you plan for the future. You try to discern what is best for you and your family. You try to discern what's best for this church. But you're doing it in the present. You can't escape it.
But you can. I can't believe you're throwing it all away.
Oh, I appreciate your concern for me, kiddo. I really do. But when it's time for old Esmeralda to face the present and to live into the future, just like everybody else. What? Now you listen to me. Don't you worry about this church. Don't you worry about these people. They come together and they make this place holy. And believe me, I have seen the opposite. I know when I'm looking at something that's worth having hope for. And just remember, God is doing a new thing right now. And in a minute, and in a week, and in a year, and in a decade, in a century. But I think your reading from Isaiah sort of wants you to pay attention to what God is doing right now.
So we should just go about our lives then, just our own lives and as a church, as if we have nothing to worry about, nothing to plan for, nothing to fix or adjust or whatever.
Well, sure, you should plan for the future. Everybody should plan for the future. Discern what's right for this church. What's right for these people in this church. Discern what's right for your individual lives in order to make the future the best present that it can be once you get there. But don't let it eat you up. Don't be preoccupied with it. Because the future's coming. One way or another, the future's coming. You can't stop it. But you can't prepare for it. You can prepare for it by being your best, most authentic self right here in the present. Because someone with a healthy present will most likely be someone with a healthy
Future.
future.
Yes. Yeah, I see what you're getting at. Let's rejoice in the new thing that God is doing now, because she is making a way in the wilderness for us. So let's, I guess, find that way, perceive it, discern it, figure it out the best we can, and then walk it together. And when we get to the future, then we'll be in pretty good shape for the future.
Well, exactly. Yeah, except for one thing. You will never get to the future. You will always, 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 always be
The present.
the present.
We could get to the future.
Don't you get me started. Those days are over. It's time for a new thing. And it's time for me to hit the road. Or the skies, I should say. Oh, good to see you. Always good to see you. And I hope to see you again soon sometime.
In the future?
Which will be the present.
It was so good to see you, Ez.
Good to see you too, kids. I always learn something when I visit you.
That's funny. It always feels like I'm the one doing the learning.
And so it goes. Adios, my darling.
Esmeralda is right, I guess. We can't live in the future any more than we could live in the past. We have to live in the now, in the present, here at the intersection of what has been and what will be. But we can't just sit here. We do have to choose a direction. Just like Dorothy and Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz, we can sing and dance a little here at the intersection, but eventually we have to dance on down the road. And maybe the best way to start this dance is to perceive what the new thing is that God is doing here in our own lives and in our lives together.